Welcome to Healings and Meditations with Frank Jordan and the Earth Mind Think Tank Group. We welcome all listeners and chatters. Any questions can be called in to 1-775-657-5973. 1-775-657-5973. If you're in the chat room on Wolf Spirit Radio, which is wolfspiritradio.com/wolf chat, please post questions in uppercase letters, in capital letters. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Well, here we are with Wolf Spirit Radio on April 12th, 2014. Beautiful day in the Northwest. And we welcome the Earth Mind Think Tank Group with us this morning. We have a good turnout. And as always, we're looking toward what we can do to stabilize Earth, the Earth environment, and consequently humanity's effect upon the Earth. So we'll be working with all those issues today. The weather patterns in the western United States are in the normal spring patterns now, where we have about every 2 weeks we have a flow of good, deep, cool moisture come through that brings rain. I see one that just passed through in California. Was that effective, you Californians?
Not much rain in California the last 3 days.
Yeah, not much here either.
None here.
All right. So there's a high pressure system setting up again on the west coast. And so our intent will be to shift that eastward and to drop down the loop of the jet stream. So it'll pick up the moisture that's coming up out of the south and into the Gulf of Alaska, and we'll drop that back down into the west, far enough down to include California. So visualize that now as we're speaking of it. And again, unify yourself with the consciousness of every living thing in the West that has DNA. And to do that, we'll step into that level of consciousness, the Devic force of consciousness, by taking your awareness into your forehead and move right straight back, touching into the spirit center, unifying with the human consciousness. And then take a step back even deeper to the psychic center. And this is where we unify our intent to bring moisture into the West, to help break the droughts of the West and the Midwest. Now step on back a step deeper and into the expanded subconscious mind that incorporates all the chakra systems. And behind that is the subtle energy field that incorporates not only the mid-plane of consciousness, the mid-chakras where we operate in the physical plane of consciousness on Earth, but also includes undersoul and oversoul and the planes of consciousness of polarity that hold things in form. And this is where we want to go this morning with our intent. First of all, into the subconscious to extend our awareness down through the root chakra, down into earth mind. And here in earth mind, we can reach out and touch the instinctive, intuitive system of every living creature that has DNA. And so we focus on the western United States. And we go step backward in time through earth mind to periods when the earth is in its natural cycles of weather, when there's abundance of life, and we use the instinctive consciousness. Gary, you have your mic on. Please mute your mic. Now back in time, we use the United Devic consciousness and to access Earth Mind, the Akashic records. And we're reaching back in time to a normal weather patterns and cycles. We're functioning and there's abundant rainfall coming into the West and around the world. Someone still has their mic open. Eric, it may be you. And our intent is to unify the need, the instinctive environmental need and desire for rain, for weather cycles that enhance and empower all life, all living things. For all living things are dependent upon water. So stepping into that consciousness of all living things back in the weather patterns when they were natural and wholesome and fulfilling, we feel ourselves in that space and time and bring that forward into this moment of now and resonates into the ocean currents and flows. The want and the desire and the need for normal weather patterns through the western United States and all through the United States. And they feel it's happening. We feel the El Nino effect. Cycling more energy upward into the states, into the ocean where it's picked up, reflecting as rainfall into the western states. Stabilizing and balancing the equatorial flows with the Tropic of Cancer. And it's just like feeling your body's filling up with the abundance of water that through the consciousness of all living things. It's like creates a suction, a feeling of suction, bringing water into the West. As we expand our consciousness to include all living things in the West. And I'm noticing that in humans, when there is a lack of adequate environmental moisture, that thought, that stress causes them to retain water. Just like a camel retaining water in drought times, humans tend to retain water in their systems because of the environmental stress and need for water. And so we release, we give our physical bodies release from the propensity to store water particularly in our lower limbs. Release the stress of all living things, the need of water. And we see those flows evening out over the next several months, bringing moisture in abundance back to California and the drought zones. But let it be timely moisture that's adequate and beneficial for the crops. Now we'll use the golden grid to hold and empower that intent. So take your awareness into the golden grid now, and also into the ring of fire, and feel the connection between the positive and negative polarity of the two. Take our awareness into Southern California, and that meridian of minor earthquakes occurring there, and lift those energies upward, particularly the San Andreas Fault energies that seem to have more activity lately. Lift those up into the ionosphere, into the golden grid, and let that energy be used partly not only as our protective shield, but also to give the Devic forces energy to lift moisture, water out of the ocean, into the clouds, into the storm systems. And we see that occurring now. The circular low pressure zones originating to the north in the Gulf of Alaska, moving southward far enough to affect the weather in the United States. And we feel this oneness, this one continuous consciousness of the weather patterns and the Devic patterns, and Earth Mind cooperating with us, responding to the desire and will of all living things. And now we have that pattern established. It will continue as we take our awareness further up along the California San Andreas Fault system, lifting earthquake energy upward, releasing the stress, empowering the golden grid, and thus empowering the oceans. All the way up through San Francisco, northward to the California-Oregon line, now take our awareness into the Sierra Nevadas on the eastern border of California, all the way down to the Garlock Fault, lifting those energies upward. And following that fault into the mountain ranges of the Rocky Mountains, through southern Nevada, Utah, up to Wyoming and the Yellowstone, and again we rebuild the column of energy rising from the cauldron into the ionosphere, there's ongoing activity near Chalice, Idaho, up in the wilderness area. This is thrust fault energy. Lift that upward. Now to the Pacific Northwest and the Willamette Valley, and in the Cascade Range. Lift those energies upward. All the way through to the Canadian line. A lot of minor activity, and I see that transmuting into the harmonic release that precludes any sudden plate shifts. Now take your awareness up into the Gulf of Alaska and through central Alaska in that huge subduction zone. When we tune into that, we feel a tremendous harmonic release, ongoing energy release. This is one of the most active earthquake zones in the world. Lift those energies upward. This is caused by plate collision and subduction up through central Alaska. We take our awareness down the Aleutian Trench, the Aleutian Islands all the way to Russia. Ongoing minor activity subduction zone, energy releasing through volcanoes. And on to Russia, southwards through the Kamchatka Trench. Minor activity there, again thrust fault energy, all the way down to the Japan Trench. Subduction energy beneath Japan causing activity in the inland volcanoes. Release those energies upward and incorporate the radioactivity as these energies spiral upward, encapsulating the radioactivity, taking it upward into our golden grid, transmuting the radioactivity into harmless, beneficial energy. Now take our awareness southward to the Philippines, where there's, in that entire region, even through Indonesia, in the Indonesian crescent, along bordering the Java Trench, there's very little activity at this time. And that makes me suspicious. So let's tune into that deeply and realize that we have an eclipse coming soon on the 15th, and that alignment can cause sudden release. Feel that intensity in your chest as we look forward to that point. So we come back into the present and lift those energies upward. The energies that would normally be releasing are building up, building intensity. So lift those upward so that there won't be a major outbreak of major earthquakes as a response to the alignment. All that intensity feeling your chest now is that energy building up. Lift it all upward and release it till your chest feels clear. Moving eastward to the Solomon Islands. We're experiencing a 5.3 at Panguna, New Guinea, as we speak. A lot of concentrated activity there. A particular location could be conducive to tsunami type events, so we release that energy. This is a new volcano activating underwater, so we allow that to continue to release and vent without destruction. We come on eastward now to Tonga, suboceanic trench in that region, the Tonga Trench. A lot of scattered activity there, reaching down to New Zealand. When I tune into New Zealand, I don't feel anything at the moment building up. Now move eastward across the Pacific to South America, Chile, from Santiago, northward on the Peru-Chile Trench, to Irkirky, which has ongoing activity all the way up to the 5 and 6 range. Into that area. This is within the oceanic trench, the Peru-Chile Trench. But there's a major shift occurring. There's probably 20 earthquakes of the 4.5 to 5.5 level that one about every 20 minutes in that region as this adjusts. Lift that energy upward, lubricating the subduction and the lateral shift of that energy. And continue northward to Central America. There's some mid-range activity, 6.6s. Nandami, Nicaragua. Lift that energy upward. There's a 6.1 at Valle San Francisco, Nicaragua. That's volcanic activity inland. Release these energies through the ancient volcanic vents all the way up through Guatemala. And eastward to Santo Domingo, Puerto Rico, ongoing clusters of small earthquakes around the island. They're almost continuous there. Again, as some major adjustment occurs. Now take your awareness to the Mediterranean. No major activity occurring anywhere in that region. So you move eastward to Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, on eastward into China, at the border of the plateau to Tibet, the minor activity there. Then we move back across the Pacific in our lateral plane to our point of beginning, then on into the south central states in Oklahoma. And I heard a report last night that the fracking there has become a concern because the geologists have noted that it is causing minor earthquakes in that area, an environmental hazard. So that's confirmation for what we already knew. Lift those energies upward around Perry, Oklahoma. And on to Ridgely, Tennessee, and the Unward Ridge fault line, stretching north and south in that region. Now back to our point of beginning. Now bring your awareness back into your own system now, out of Earth mind for a moment. To center back in yourselves and expand laterally out through the human consciousness, through the psychic grid. And you'll notice there's a lot of stress in the psychic grid today. That intensity you feel particularly in the left side of your head, the frontal lobes, and back in the inner, is where the consciousness of humans are trying to balance and adjust and stabilize the financial system of the world, causing tremendous stress because of the battle going on between the United States and the rest of the world to limit the United States' ability to dominate the rest of the world. Now we tune into our own factors, our own dominators, who are trying to maintain control over the world finances through the IMF. And we urge our congressmen to relax their need to control the world, that there is financial abundance, that it will naturally come to the U.S., that they don't have to control the throughput from everything that happens in the world because of our stranglehold we have on the Central Reserve System. To release the Federal Reserve responsibility for maintaining the financial structure of the world through the banking system, They literally own the banking system of the world. We see that disintegrating, where every country will be responsible for its own chartered banking systems, and a unified system for dealing with other countries is established now. We see the BRIC countries observing the need for dominion in the world so they don't become a greater domination force, replacing the United States. Right, I'm still feeling a lot of pressure in the left brain, frontal lobes. This tells us that we need the countries of the world, the populace, to become aware of what's happening, and through their representatives, their government systems, prompt the controllers to release their control. And we can do this subliminally through Earth Mind. So we drop this intent into Earth Mind. In the Earth Mind financial grid of the world, it sustains the old patterns and forms. It's almost instinctive in everyone. We see the shift of consciousness now on through the active participants in mental configuration to willing to shift the global reserve system, the global refinance system, restructuring of the currencies. We see Iraq being the linchpin that holds everything else, and the United States is resisting the release of the dinar and the reevaluation because it will weaken the control of the money masters. And we feel that resistance weakening. We encourage and give empowerment to all of those of right mind that are thinking and pursuing dominion in the world financial structures. And we project this intent into the future. And from the future, where it is already established and the world in balance and harmony, we bring that resonance back into this time and space. And we bring in from the galactic flow the knowledge and understanding of how to bring dominion into the world financial structure. Down the hearts and minds of all living people. We bring through unconditional love from the galactic center and resonated through every living person on earth. So this imprints in their systems and in their earth mind nodes as being the natural state of humanity to live in peace, harmony, honor, and integrity, in dominion. And we see this lifting the frequency level of everyone towards the fourth dimension. It will still be the same Earth, the same systems, but the methodology of dealing with each other will change from the domination forms to the dominion forms. And we see this happening now. Fourth dimension simply lifts us into a higher level of accelerated consciousness and being, to where everyone will be prompted to make right choice in dominion. We send that wave around the world. You see the release and complete collapse of the fiat energy system, the fiat currency system, replaced by gold-backed, substantial, honorable forms of communication. And I feel my hands heating up incredibly now with the intensity of the galactic flow coming through to empower what we have desired, what we desire to bring into form. And we feel the shift of consciousness of the world. Even though these are minuscule shifts, each time we do this, the entire world is being affected. And the restructuring of the world currency system is happening now. And we feel the stress release from our left brains as people gain understanding, instinctive, intuitive understanding of the need for dominion. And they heed the prompting of dominion to make right choice in creating the new system in balance and fairness to all. And so it is. Does anyone in the group have any requests for this morning, or what we can do for the world?
Let's make Dave feel better.
All right, let's focus our attention on Dave. And the realization came that water retention is not unique to Dave. He's responding to the group mind consciousness of drought. And I've noticed these cycles before, that group mind consciousness causes physical responses in people. So everyone who instinctively, intuitively are fearing the drought and retaining water in their own systems, release it. It isn't necessary. Because in the group mind, we can adjust. We don't have to do it individually. Now Dave and anyone else who's retaining water in their legs, in their systems, feel that water moving upward within yourselves now and being eliminated. And the strengthening of the energetic systems of the muscles the lymph system, so that the lymph pump can function properly to release from your systems. And we see this happening through the DNA consciousness of every living thing, that it comes into the natural cycles of utilizing water, and once it's used, releasing it back into the system, back into the environment to recycle. So more and more things can have a balance and abundance of moisture. Water is the lifeblood of all living creatures. It's the telecommunication system of all living creatures. It is the liquid crystal that all consciousness communicates through within living systems. So we feel the balance coming within ourselves, through the Devic consciousness, through every living creature on earth. But we don't have to retain or hoard water. We can express it and recycle it, so there's abundance for all. And so it is. All right, we have some time, so let's chat about this a little bit. That's a new perception, that each of us, being a part of the whole, our own fears or anxieties or physical stresses affect everyone else and every living thing. This gives us greater inspiration and understanding of how things work, and how the maintenance of our own psychological health is primary to our maintaining our physical health and that of everything around us. Any comments? Well, this points out the necessity of understanding how human consciousness is integrated into the consciousness of every living thing on earth. That we are not separate, we're simply more cognizant of the factors that affect and we're looking at manifestation here, direct manifestation into the living consciousness and physical form of nature. And we realize now our importance in maintaining good psychological balance with our intent and expression of how we see things and live our lives. And so it is. Dave, are you there? Oh,
Frank?
yes.
What you were saying reminds me of when you're on an airplane and they say that if the oxygen masks drop, that you are required to put yours on first before you help, say, your children or anybody else around you, so that you are cognizant and able to do. And so I feel that that's very similar to what you're saying.
That's exactly right. I've always known that for a healer to be effective and to do no harm to others. First, thou heal thyself. And this relates directly out to the world affairs also, and how we conduct ourselves, our own personal self-perception of who we are, and our personal power and how we express it. First, heal thyself to be the best you can possibly be. And then you give back, and your first responsibility is to God and God Force consciousness. And with the realization that you are God, then your first responsibility is to yourself, to be all that you can be, so that what you give back is all that you're potentially capable of giving and being in your own evolutionary path, where what we give back comes back to us in direct proportion, only amplified, so that we will have more energy and power to give out. And so, first heal thyself, and that's what we're doing, is healing ourselves of the retention of water, with the thought of giving this back to the environment. The subconscious mind is responding to this. It is strengthening the features of the systems in our bodies that recycle water. And we see as that water comes back into the cycles of nature, back into the environment, other creatures benefit. And so, even as we attract and want water through the group mind consciousness of all living things, it's with the realization that as it passes through us, we use it for life and then cycle it back out and release it for the abundance of others in life. Now you feel yourself stabilizing, your own systems internalizing that information, and you become more one with all things. Well, let's bring our awareness back up in our own systems now, back out through the soul center, into the frontal lobes, back into this physical world. Only come back with a new and greater awareness. I have a great feeling of listening at this time, like there's something more that's trying to come through to us. Anyone who has this feeling, please express your thoughts.
I have some information coming. I was listening to the gentleman with Mitch on Earth Changes, and he's saying that these eclipses bring a lot of displaced fluid on the earth and moisture. And this too can be part of what we're speaking of, that the fluids in the earth are moving and displacing from the eclipse energy.
Yeah, and those fluids have a direct effect on the movement of earth and in the plates also.
Yes.
Whether they slip harmoniously or not.
Was there an eclipse a couple nights ago?
It's coming on the 15th, and there's supposedly a 14-day window before and after these eclipses where this energy occurs.
Okay.
Dave, is there a window on the 15th at a time when the group can come in and work with Wolf Spirit Radio to have a special program on Tuesday next week, on the 15th?
I think we can arrange something.
All right, you check your schedule out. If you have a window, preferably later in the afternoon or evening, if something's available, a time slot,
I have a special
and
show
so you can advertise it.
I have a special show from 6 to 9 p.m. Tuesday evening. That leaves you a 3 to 4 slot in the afternoon.
2 to 4?
3 to 4.
3 to 4? Well, let's shoot for that then. 3 o'clock to the afternoon next week. And we'll, you guys all be thinking of what you want to present, what's necessary, and we'll go for it.
Was that 3 o'clock Mountain Time?
Pacific.
Pacific. Okay. That's noon, I guess, Atlantic time.
Does that work for you, David?
Yeah, noon's fine. Yeah. Right, Eastern.
I'm checking my calendar, make sure that's right. Yeah, Tuesday the 15th at 3 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Mountain Time. Okay, well, let's get to lots of good things thought about and do some research and see what we can do in that period. I'm already having good thoughts and ideas about how we can utilize that time, those energies. So, any other suggestions?
Well, I think there's something else coming up that might be even more powerful than the eclipse of the moon, and that is the 4 square alignment of some planets that only happens once in a, I don't know how, Mike probably knows more how to describe it better than I don't know much about it, but it's, from what I've read, it seems like it's a pretty big deal coming up with that, and it's right in this month as well.
Yeah, there's a big T-square, and I think there may actually be an annular solar eclipse later in the month. But I'll look into all that in advance of that call.
Yeah, let's watch that so we can take advantage of these things.
Okay.
Okay, any other suggestions? If not, Dave, we'll slide on out of here. I do want to remind everyone that I'm available for personal sessions with you, clearing, healing, and just email me at fljordan@cableone.net. We'll set up times for you. All right, if there's nothing else, Dave, are you there?
I'm here.
You sound better already.
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here too.
And we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Okay.
Take care, Dave.
Y'all take
Yeah,
care.
you guys be thinking of good topics for tomorrow night also that might fit in with this, so we got lots of things to work with. All right. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.